students in areas that didn't exist 5 years ago. So it's a dynamic discipline, and we're constantly growing and adapting to the discipline, and that's why it's an exciting time to be in engineering. Another exciting reason is because the disciplines themselves are changing. So if you look at the class of 2027 and the classes they'll be taking, and you compare that to the class of 2023 and the classes they took, these classes are different. For instance, the kinds of methodologies you use even in basic introductory classes are now increasingly data-driven, informed by data science and of course AI. If you look at the materials we use, the manufacturing processes, the problems we solve, thinking about the challenges again that we face in society are connected to energy, connected to storage, connected to a sustainable economy, the buildings we create, all those are very different than even 5 years ago. Finally, I have to say that being where we are in an engineering school right next to one of the biggest schools in medicine, one of the most successful schools, the way we think about healthcare is very different. The road to healthcare innovations for the future is through engineering. So we think a lot about how to train our students, how to educate them in precision engineering for healthcare. So no matter what discipline you pick today, and I know many of you will change your disciplines as you go forward, you're positioned to have an impact in critical areas that face humanity. And that's why it's such an exciting time to be an engineer, particularly at Penn. And I want to just say just a few things about how we're changing. So of course, we're in the talent business. It's about recruiting top-notch talent, whether it be at students, staff, or faculty. And as we grow, we're also growing the spaces, the laboratories, the classrooms. And at this point, we're creating 3 new facilities to accommodate all the new talent that you see. Perhaps the biggest facility we have created, which will open in fall 2024, is Amy Gutman Hall, which will be the home of data science, home of artificial intelligence on campus. The second big facility, which will also open in 24-25, is the Vagelos Laboratory of Energy Science and Technology, which will be the home for, of course, energy and sustainability initiatives. And then finally, at 37th and Market, we're opening a new laboratory in precision engineering for health, which once again will train students, will educate students, and will conduct world-class research in collaboration with colleagues in medicine. So these 3 new spaces will almost double the amount of research space we'll have, and will also double the amount of classroom space we'll have within engineering. So new labs, new classrooms, and the class of 2027 will see all of this change taking place during their time at Penn. So just a wonderful place to be. I know you'll hear a lot more about this in the first few years. I'm looking at the students here during their orientation. But I know many of you have questions about the curriculum you might take, the advice you will get, the clubs you might join, the extracurricular activities, and above all, the engineering ecosystem. I'm of course here to answer your questions. I'd be delighted to meet with all of you. But what I do want to do is to introduce you to some of the faculty that are sort of on the front line in charge of education. I'm going to try to point out a few people. It's a bit different, but let me start with our Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education, Rob Greist. Where's Rob? Right behind me. So you will see Professor Greist in your introductory calculus class, and let me tell you, this will be a calculus class like no other. And certainly your parents won't recognize this calculus class. He's one of our best educators, and plus he's also in charge of overseeing our entire undergraduate curriculum. I also want to introduce you to the chairs of the departments. Let me start with bioengineering. Professor Ravi Radhakrishnan, Chair of Bioengineering. So if you're a bioengineering student or bioengineering parent, that's where you want to be. I'm going to go next to chemical and biomolecular engineering. And under the tent is Professor Chineda Masoji. You've got to keep it up so people can see it. So chemical engineers, biomolecular engineers, that's where you want to be. Again, going down the list in alphabetical order, Computer Information Science, Professor Zach Ives, he's the chair of Computer Information Science. He's holding up a placard which says NETS, Network and Social Systems Engineering, but he can also answer questions about computer information science or digital media design. I know there are some other computer science faculty. I just happen to see Joe DiVietti in the back. You should be holding up that sign. Thank you, Joe. Questions about computer science, they're best equipped to answer those questions. Going down the list, Electrical and Systems Engineering. George Pappas, chair, is at the back. And next to him, I see Sid Dalawala, who will be teaching your students the introductory laboratory courses if they're electrical engineers. So that's the place to be for electrical engineering. Next, I want to go to Material Science and Engineering. Professor Shu Yang is holding up a placard under the tent. And then finally, Mechanical Engineering and Applied Mechanics, Professor Kevin Turner. And right next to him, I also see Igor Bargotin, who is the undergraduate curriculum chair. So that's where your mechanical engineering questions will be answered. I'm trying to see who else I should introduce, but this is just a sea of faces. This is not easy here. But as you walk around, you'll see people with the Penn Engineering name tag. So please introduce yourself and be part of the community. Lastly, I do want to say that if you want to keep in touch with a lot of things going on in the school, as I mentioned, a lot of exciting things. I think parents, you're already part of my spam mailing list. You probably got my newsletter this past yesterday. If you didn't, we'll find a way to subscribe you, but that's one way of keeping in touch with everything that's going on in the school. The second thing I would say is you can always follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or I think it's called X these days. But you'll get your news from there. It's again a great way to keep in touch. But right now, I just want you to enjoy and mingle. It's a beautiful day, and I hope we'll see you at the family weekend, which is in October, or some other Penn Engineering event. Again, congratulations to everyone, and welcome to Penn.